edition of the Contractors' Secret Weapon weekly podcast with your hosts, Dave Negri. This program is dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, roof cleaners, and business owners in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over the competition. This program supplies you with information that the competition doesn't even know exists. This session brought to you by ContractorsSecretWeapon.com.
Before we get into the conversation with you, I just want to do a shout out to our sponsors who help promote Contractors' Secret Weapon and just some of the things that they have in store for you, our listeners. Hey, is your phone ringing enough? Do you want it to ring more with highly motivated and qualified buyers that contact you, the contractor, directly? No more waiting for the phone to ring. Just answer that phone. Best Home Services leads are dedicated to making your phone ring with motivated buyers that call you directly. There's no obligation to talk with them. Just go to ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money. Fill out the form to secure your discount on the setup fee. Do it today. This special will not last forever. Check them out at ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money.
Running a small business is no easy task, and I should know because I had a service company for almost 10 years. I am the founder of a software called Radius Bomb, and it's unbelievable. And for all the listeners of Contractor's Secret Weapon, we have a special offer for you to check out. If you want to send hyper-targeted, laser-focused, super personalized postcards to your exact prospects using a map while sitting in your underwear, then go to ContractorSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb, and we'll give you your first 100 postcards for free. Just go to ContractorSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb.
Welcome to another episode of Contractor's Secret Weapon. This is Dave Negri, today your host. And today we got some really interesting things to talk to you about, make you think a little as you work your business. So my question is, do you have the customer you want or the customer you deserve? And I ask this question to a lot of contractors, and the response I usually get is, yes, I want all the customers I can get. Customers, are the lifeblood of my business, so the more customers I get means the more money I will make. Really? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Really, more customers equal more money? That's a false premise. Then I say, that was not the question that I asked. The question I asked is, do you have the customer you deserve, or do you have the customer you want? Then I get this weird look, and maybe you're thinking about this as you're driving down the road or you're listening to this, and I have to continue on. You see, most of us contractors and most people going into business think about getting business and not about business as a whole. Chasing the dollar. So the first thing most contractors do when going into business as they enter the marketplace is they sit down, they figure out what everyone else is charging, and start competing on price. That's what I did because I didn't know any better. First, they figure that they have a good product, they are great at what they do, and so they throw away their greatness and their ability to do what they do excellent and start competing on price just to get into the marketplace. Of course, how do I know? Because that's how I started. Yes, I am guilty. I started there, and I guessed real fast that I was going to end up going in a direction that I wasn't going to stay in business very long. So that action actually would put me out of business. I had to change that direction, or it would have put me out of business. That's why I found a mentor and hired a coach. More on that some other day about business. So how do I have the customer that I deserved? And as painful it may sound, if you are competing on price alone, then the customer you're attracting is a price shopper. They're going to beat you up. They are going to nickel and dime you because that's what you are attracting by competing on price. That price shopper will eat up your time, they will eat up your profits, and they will eat up your sanity. I know. They will complain the most about everything, and when they refer you, guess what? It's going to be to like-minded people. And unfortunately, when you only sell by price, you get these types of customers. Now, the fun thing about this, and I don't know if you really want to call it fun, but the most interesting thing about this is you are not going to get a whole lot of referral business from cheap people. It's just a fact. So if you think you're going to build your business on referrals and people that don't complain, then I would stay away from the price competition part. So I say this is a customer you deserve because you are either lazy or you don't know any better. And I'm going to go on the premise that you don't know, and today we're going to help try to change that for you. And if you're lazy, I can't help that at all. So right now, I'm sure that you feel you are on a hamster wheel, going round and round and round, feeding the hamster, your business, with bad food, price shoppers, and with no nutrition. That's profit. To keep him going, so he is running as fast as he can to keep the pace, he's going to die from malnutrition and overwork. So what do you need to do? You need to get off that hamster wheel. So what do you need to do? Well, we've talked about this before, but I'm really going to hit it hard. Is you need to define who the customer is you want. Think about your business. You need to stop going after the money. You need to go after your ideal customer, one who has the money. So think about business as a business owner, not as a tradesperson, not as a salesperson, not as an installer. So how do I make my business and strategically get the customers that I want? So first of all, now you have to define who the customer is that you want. Everyone's definition of an ideal customer is going to be different. So you have to figure out who your ideal customer is, and how do you start going after that ideal customer? Well, here's one example of defining your ideal customer. What type of house do they live in? But let's back up a minute. I want you to go through your sales, your average sales, and figure out who is the customer that you are servicing the most. What type of house do they live in? What type of income do they make? What type of car do they drive? What are some of the questions that they ask you when you go on a sales call to talk with them? You know, what type of neighborhood, or their zip code? Of course, where do they shop? What do they buy? Why do they buy? Do they value? Or do they buy by price? You know, what makes them feel good? Who is the main purchaser of your goods, services, or whatever product you sell? Is it the man of the house? Is it the woman of the house? More than likely, it's not going to be 50-50. It will be more so, one will be more prominent than the other. Once you get to the point, the better you can define your ideal customer, the healthier your business will start to be, and the more sanity you will have, because you're not going to be chasing the dollar, you're going to be chasing the customer. Where do you want that customer to be? Like me, I like a radius of no more than 10 miles unless it reaches a certain dollar amount that I can do within one day. Then I will travel an hour. But that's it. I'm spoiled and I'm getting old, and I'm going to work the least amount for the most that I can do. So if you haven't figured out by now, selling by price only as a commodity is easy mentally, because you don't have to figure out any marketing to do. You're just trying to match the other guy's price or beat the other guy's price to get business. But it's ultimately hardest on your pocketbook. So choosing a customer, going after a specific customer type, going after a target is harder in the beginning mentally, because you have to learn about your ideal customer. But in the end, it is so much more rewarding monetarily once you make that choice and you stick to your guns and go after it. Survive or thrive. now you need to know what to do to get into that right direction. So once you've chosen your target and you start going after that more often than not, how do you find, or how do you conservatively find that effort? I know that one of the things that is really easy to follow is the thing that makes most real estate agents successful is that they have a farm. So let's talk about farming for a little bit. I know we're not going to talk about agricultural farming, but we're going to talk about farming for customers. You've just picked your ideal customer. So what subdivision? Well, where I live, it's subdivisions. In other areas, it might be a small town or a small suburb. But where I live, it's subdivisions or areas of town that I can target. And here's another interesting way to pick a farm is you can pick it by location, you can pick it by income, you can pick it by professionalism, whether you want doctors, whether you want lawyers, whether you want single business women, people who make over $200,000 a year. Each one of those could be a specific farm for you. And I know you've probably heard me talk about this before, is that the smaller piece of the pie, the smaller niche that you have, the more money that you can pull out of it. It's not going after the masses because the masses don't have money. So you want to plant your farm, and that could be many, many different ways. We've talked about EDDM, we've talked about even three-step mailers. I'm a firm believer that it's much more profitable to send out 1,000 postcards on a consistent basis than do a one-shot deal of 10,000. I want to build a relationship, and of course there are pros and cons on EDDM postcards. There's pros and cons on three-step letters, because you have to pretty much know what you're doing. You have to make an offer that's going to make them respond, or put together an envelope that they will open and do an offer. I think one of the biggest challenges that we make as contractors is when we send out a marketing piece, we're looking for business now. And that's really not the most profitable way to do it, and long-term thinking, because only 3% of the people are looking to buy now. So you may have to send out 10,000 pieces of mail to get 3% that will do business with you. But there are easier ways to do it, more conservative. If you pick your farm, you can own that part of the country where you're at. If you establish it and you plant it and you work it, you do social things within that farm, community projects within that farm. Do you have the customer you want or the customer you deserve? I'm hoping that you will go get the customer you want, and then that will be the customer you deserve, instead of having a customer you deserve because you decided to go after them because of your selling or competing on price. Oh boy, it just drives me crazy when people compete on price, because in the marketplace there is so much business. If you are a true professional, you can pretty much get what you want, as long as you can prove that you are a professional and know what you're talking about. So,
okay, I know that for the most part, most of you and most of us have never thought about this concept. Do I have the customer I want, or do I have the customer I deserve? They are completely two opposite ends of the spectrum, and I know we just went through this briefly, but let me just a little bit talk about this again. The customer you want, that's the one that's going to provide you with the income you want. It's going to be the customer who pays the price you want. The customer you deserve should be that person too. However, most of us, like I said before, we go after customers based on price in the beginning. And so we have the customer we deserve, but not necessarily the customer we want. So plan a strategy to keep your A and B customers. Those are the customers you want. Get a C and D strategy for the customers that you have gotten that you do not want. And hopefully those are the ones that you don't deserve. However, if you are going to continue to run your business based on price in the marketplace, you're going to get customers that are, I like to call, whiny heinies. And so stop it. Just stop it and go after the customer you truly want. And in order for you to get the customer you truly want, then you're going to have to go back to our episodes where we specifically talk about target marketing, how to create that avatar, how to create that target so that is the one that you are specifically going after. Do you take other clients? Yes. But do you go after them? Not necessarily. No, you go after the ones that you've defined. So, till the next time we meet, be profitable, stay focused, and be purposeful in the type of customer you acquire. Again, I want to thank you for joining us and investing your time with us today. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and if you did, go to iTunes and give us a shout out. You can also go to our website, www.contractorsecretweapon.com, and check out today's episode and leave us a comment in the bottom of the page. And if you haven't gotten your 15 secret weapon strategies to getting higher-end customers, get it while you're at the website. Also, I want to thank again our sponsors for keeping this podcast alive, for your profit-making pleasure. And so go be profitable this week. Work smarter, not harder, and learn how to leverage your time and your knowledge so that you can be more profitable. Again, see you next week.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Contractors Secret Weapon Podcast with Dave Negri. We would love to hear your comments about this episode, so visit us online at www.contractorsecretweapon.com and let us hear your thoughts. If you are listening via iTunes, please leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive, the more other contractors will benefit from this show. Thank you, and see you next time here on the Contractors Secret Weapon Podcast.